The Atlantic describes law as the only job with an industry devoted to helping people quit. And as someone who's worked for at least 3 of the biggest law firms in the world, I completely understand it. We know that the hours are long and tedious, and sometimes like 48-hour shifts are not uncommon. So if you're in the industry, you already know about this and the sacrifices that you have to make in your personal life, whether it's not being able to pick up your kids from school or even getting in a relationship that lasts in the first place. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the alternative careers for lawyers who want fulfillment and that financial independence and want to really leverage their innate hard work to build a life that works for them. I feel like that's where I am right now, and I'm so grateful for the firms that I worked for because I knew exactly what I was getting into. Well, I thought I knew, but actually being there is different. But I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy process joining like these big law firms. And at the same time, I knew that I would come out of it with a lot of skills that I could use to get me kind of life that I wanted. So in today's video, we are going to talk about alternative careers for lawyers so that you can do the same. And I'm going to share the things that have worked for me so that you can kind of use that as inspiration. I'm generally going to be talking about roles outside of private practice. And if you need me to go in deeper, let me know. So comment below this video as I'm talking. And if you're new here, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell because this channel is all about helping you make a successful career shift so that you can enjoy your life and future-proof your career. And as I said, we're talking about alternative careers for lawyers, which are outside private practice. And the first of that is something that I'm sure you are familiar with, especially if you are at the mid to senior level. But if you've worked in a law firm, you already know, and that is working in-house. In England alone, apparently around 22% of lawyers work in-house at the moment. And I've done the same from London to Dubai. And I know that the general perception in private practice is that in-house lawyers have it way easier in terms of hours, but they have to sacrifice their pay. And one thing I'm going to tell you is that that's not always true. You have to be super strategic about the companies and the clients that you shift into working for, because there is money in-house. I know that lockstep and bonuses and regular salary increases sounds good. And yes, when you work in some banks, you're not going to get the same because they don't need to spend that much money to get good talent, especially as they are getting free secondees and stuff from their panel law firms, right? I was one of those types of secondees, so I know that structure very well. So if you want to go in-house, some of the best options include working for mid-size and growing tech startups, and they're usually getting to the point of heavy scaling, and they need lawyers with the type of sophistication and practice experience that you get in big law because they want someone who they know has been trained properly so that that person can handle their serious matters. And if you have that kind of experience, you really can leverage that to negotiate a higher salary that at the very least is similar to what you're currently getting. Of course, that depends on your stage, right? Because if you're moving in as a partner and going in-house, like your base salary as a partner is really high. But if you shift strategically, you might be able to negotiate like equity that even surpasses what you're currently getting. So if you pivot into the right type of company at the right stage and you get vested, you can be set for life. I have friends working at Binance who are on track for this, and similar, I have friends at Rivian who they've just IPO'd and they're just laughing right now. So you can find some of these types of tech companies using platforms like AngelList, TechCrunch, Crunchbase, and yes, I know that the 2 companies I mentioned are no longer small to mid-sized firms, but if you get in at the right time, the principle still applies. And then also those well-funded tech companies like the FANG ones, they have budget. So shifting into them and matching your current pay shouldn't be that difficult, especially if you know how to negotiate. Other industries that pay in-house lawyers really well include like the traditional industries like pharma. Lots of people don't know this, but pharma pays well money. Aerospace, investment banking, I've talked about the caveat for that. I think I'd probably more go towards the VC route than going to a traditional investment bank. Plus emerging industries like blockchain and crypto, tech, etc. I'm gonna bleep out in case YouTube penalizes me. So the cons of working in-house is that just not all in-house roles are a breeze. I found this with big size global financial institutions who really can be quite tight on their compensation. As I said before, they have the benefit of big law and Magic Circle firms chasing them for panel work. So their teams are usually quite lean because they're focused on making sure that their deals are done on budget and that they have enough profit to distribute with their shareholders. So they're not going to throw money at lawyers just the same way you would in a partnership. So the next alternative career for lawyers is consulting. And this is one of my personal favorites because it is what I do now. Your consultancy options as a lawyer, they kind of differ from country to country. It's impossible to summarize the rules wherever you live. But in summary, you set up a company where you are the product, i.e. you're the service provider, and you operate as a consultant lawyer and you offer your services to big law firms, companies, etc. So it's kind of like working in-house, but you're not an employee. You have a lot more flexibility. You can work as you want. And depending on the terms that you negotiate, that can really be a great way of getting paid really well on a per project basis and having the flexibility to really live your life, which is what I love right now. So I personally have a general consulting practice that covers law and technology. So if you have other skills that are marketable, you can kind of build your consulting practice around that. For me, tech was really, really important because that's the thing that excites me. I love the way the market is moving right now. And in fact, when I left my last law firm, I went to learn how to code. So being aware of the value of those tech skills and combining them with my experience in law, where you've worked on deals to pressure and you've project managed so many things that you don't even realize that you've done, really allowed me to be able to command a higher price for my services than I would as like a typical in-house lawyer. Do you see what I mean? So it's really, really important when you're trying to make a career shift, whether that's you're going in-house or you're going into consulting, that you understand your transferable skills. And I know that lots of lawyers feel like, I'm not sure how my skills would be relevant. Comment below if you've ever thought about that, and I will respond to you and show you that there are things that you can transfer that will be very, very relevant and help you to make your shift. So working as a consultant personally allows me to have exposure to the types of high quality work and clientele that I love working with. In fact, one of my biggest clients right now is actually a big law firm as well. And I'm using my tech experience to digitally transform certain aspects of their business, which I love. So I never thought that it would be something that I would do, and I absolutely love it. My domain expertise in law and also my tech insights has really helped me carve this niche for myself, and it's working out really, really well. I didn't even know that you could work in big law and love what you do so much, and that's exactly where I am. And the difference is now people don't say we need to deliver this by tomorrow. It's like, please, can you help us? So they request rather than demanding, and I really love it. You can probably tell I had an injury, so I had surgery a couple of weeks ago, and my team have been fantastic. They are so accommodating. The energy is really different from that high pressure of being in the thick of private practice. By no means am I saying that being a consultant is easy, but I personally love it. You really get how much you put into it. So, you work hard in private practice, you're billing those 2,000 hours a year, but your salary is capped at a certain level and you get paid really well for it. But let's say your bonus max you can get is 20% and you have to maybe bill 2,600 hours. If you put the same hours into a consulting business and you work with the right types of clients, you can actually earn way more than you would if you're working in private practice. But at this point in my life, money is really important, but that's a baseline. Financial independence and like fulfillment and stuff, that's really important, but I'm not just driven by money. I'm really driven about the type of life that I want to live and enjoy. And I know that the way work is evolving right now, you having a good job is not the same thing as it was like 50 years ago. Your great job can be completely eradicated by AI. I'm not saying that's the case with law, but you really have to think outside of the box. So for me, working as a consultant allows me to do high quality work and work with clients that really excite me, particularly in the tech space and working on tech projects. Plus, I'm getting so many skills that are more relevant for the future, right? Beyond drafting. I also, very importantly, have the work-life balance that I craved when I was in the office at 3-4 a.m. and that was pretty tough because it was consistent. But now I still have those 3-4 a.m. days, but that's because I choose to have them. I really enjoy the kind of stuff that I do. I have the work-life balance to work on my other projects. So for example, my career transition program, my app that I'm developing. I also can travel when I want. I don't ask for permission anymore. I just say, I am traveling, and I let my clients know that this is what's happening. Also, energetically, people are just a lot like nicer. I am super OTT. That's why I get in the flow sometimes with my work, and I look up and I'm like, I said I was gonna go to bed at 10 p.m. and it's now 3 a.m. It's not because I'm there because I need to deliver a contract by 9 a.m. It's because I'm doing or I'm learning stuff that I'm really intrigued about, and I didn't even realize that time was flying. So for me, that kind of lifestyle where I feel balanced and I'm happy and I feel energized and engaged by the type of work that I do is really important, and I feel like consulting gives me that. So I have waxed lyrical about consulting, but if you want to get into that space as well, there are so many flexible law providers out there that you can consider. So in the UK and the US, we have Axiom, Peerpoint, Lawyers on Demand. There's so many. But what you get for each role varies. So I don't want you to think that, oh, I'm always going to get 6-figure jobs or 6-figure projects. It really depends. And you will be self-employed. So to get the most of it, you really need to own your career, know your transferable skills, know how to network, know how to build relationships. And these are all things that we teach our clients in the Career Game Changer program. So if you want to work with me to learn how to do that like a boss, click below this video to apply. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Check out my other videos for some career transition advice.